Hi. Asobo released Sim Update 3 today. It was scheduled for the 11th, so it's a couple days early. I hope they didn't rush things. Patch notes are linked in the description. I'm just going to cover a few things in this video, but the list of changes is pretty extensive. For the most part, it looks like they hit a lot of low-hanging fruit bug fixes. There's a ton of things that are still in need of addressing in the sim that this patch didn't touch. Feel free to check out the patch notes yourself and let me know your thoughts in the comments. I did my usual pre-install preparation and renamed my community folder, but then I deviated from my normal cautious approach. I just ran the sim to see if it would update properly without having to run the store application first, and heavens to Betsy, it did the update just fine. Oddly, after the update was finished, I quit the sim and ran it up again, and it applied a second update that appears to have been the new FSX liveries. They added a bunch of liveries with this patch. I'll look at those later in the video. I did notice my load times went up slightly with the community folder empty. My old load time was 2 minutes, and following this patch, it's around 3.5 minutes. Following the normal install, I went to the Content Manager, and indeed it had about 30 updates to apply there, so make sure you check for updates in the Content Manager. Since one of the items of focus on this update is avionics, I was curious as to what changes might have been applied to the G1000, if any. I fired up the 172 and took a look, and indeed there have been updates made to it as the menu key now displays a menu without being in a sub mode. I'll take a deeper look at these changes later, but I hope they've added all of the missing pages for the MFD portion of the G1000, as well as smoothing out the issues with the FMS. I always check to see if they fixed the fuel shutoff valve in the 172, and sadly, it's still reversed in the sim. I did a quick flight to see if my FPS was impacted, and overall it seems about the same as it was. I did notice that the rudder control in the 172 is much smoother than it was before, so I know they addressed some issues with the control surfaces. During my initial flight, I noticed that the ground detail was terrible, so I used that as an opportunity to check out the manual cache. I went into the manual cache and it was disabled, so I had to reset to default so that the sim would enable the view button for me. I'm not a big fan of this bug and I run into it fairly often. Doing this, it always ends up pointing back to my boot drive for the cache location, so I reset the rolling cache path to its correct location. I already had a couple of manual caches set for the Spokane area of Washington that I was testing, so I deleted those for a fresh start. I set a new cache on the manual page and named it KVNY, which is where I was flying initially. I zoomed in to get high quality and created the cache successfully. It's something I was unable to do prior to this patch, so it's great to see they fixed this issue. It's about time, really. Revisiting the KVNY area, indeed the manual cache resolved the issues with the ground textures, and it looks correct now. I wanted to see if live weather was working properly. It's slightly cloudy here today, so I checked online for some rain. I was able to locate it in Eureka, California. Starting a flight up there and setting live weather, it indeed was raining, so that's a good sign. Let me know in the comments if live weather is working for you as well. It's certainly been hit and miss with this feature in the sim, sadly. The patch notes indicate that they added CONTRAILS to the sim. They don't work on multiplayer or AI aircraft, so I took an A320 up for a flight, and indeed, the CONTRAILS are there. So that's a nice addition. I'd really like to see water wake added real soon as well for both boats and amphibious airframes. They indicated new features in the world map, but I'll be darned if I can find any customization menus or new features. In fact, I went through all of the menus and settings and I didn't see anything new. If you know where this new custom world map feature is, please let me know in the comments. Maybe it got left out of the patch and they forgot to update the notes, or I'm just being an idiot and don't see it. Finally, they added new liveries. They added this Kenmore livery to all aircraft in the sim. Bear in mind that my sim is the base version and I have the base set of aircraft. However, for the A320 and the 747, each got 4 new liveries. The King Air got 5 and the Citation got 4 new liveries. They all look very nice. I love these free features they keep adding to the sim like this, and these liveries are all top-notch quality. Okay, that's it for this video. Did the patch go well for you? Are you seeing any issues? Let us know in the comments what your experience was with this patch. Hopefully we, as a community, can assist any folks that experienced issues. The patch notes are linked in the description for your reference, and that's it. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, take care.